What's going on, everybody? This is Joe.
And Amy.
And we are from Geek For All. Hopefully you all knew that if you're here, but if this is like somehow the first video of ours that you're watching, welcome. Geek For All was originally always our main YouTube channel. It was the YouTube channel. We had a Twitter, we had a Facebook, all that good stuff. But this is going to be our 2019 closing / 2020, what's to come video for Geek For All as a whole. And what do I say when I mean that? Well, something that we were able to do this year was launch not one, but two new channels under the Geek For All umbrella. And those two channels, if you are unfamiliar, were Video Games For All and
Gluten Free For All.
So both of those, I think, were channels that we had both individually and collectively been talking about, thinking about for a fair amount of time.
Yes.
I would say Video Games For All much longer than Gluten Free For All, but still both things that we had really wanted to make for a while. And it just took a little while for us to get to that point, both timing-wise and having the means, the technology, the what have you, the know-it-all, really, to be able to do it, as well as the technology, right? We were able to pick up some things this year to be able to do that. So, we've reached a number of very cool milestones this year. On our main channel, which is the one that has obviously had the most time to grow. The other ones are at low numbers right now, not that our main channel is not at low numbers in the realm of YouTube, but for us, I'm very pleased, we're very pleased to have the kind of numbers that we do. We are up to over 60,000 total views on all of our videos on the channel.
Thank you.
Thank you all so very much for that. That is not on us, that's on all of you. Hopefully you've enjoyed anything and everything that you've seen there. And we're always welcome to feedback and constructive criticism on anything that we do, as long as it's polite and it's something that you notice either that you like and you want to see more of, or that you dislike and you want to see less of, or to see something change. We are always welcome to hearing that. And that those 60,000 plus views go along with the fact that as of recording this video, we have broken the 550 video mark on our main channel, which means that since June or July of 2015, when we started this channel, PS, coming up on 5 years this coming year, 2020.
Been a while.
Yes. We have done and made and produced and sent out to all of you over 550 videos. And that's on the one channel, not even counting our second and now third channels. Speaking of those second and third channels, I am super happy that we got to launch Video Games For All this year. It was definitely a baby of mine that was something that I had wanted to do for years and years. Amy can, I'm sure, attest to the fact that I pestered her a lot about it. And finally, I wouldn't say you acquiesced, but you were nice enough to agree to it, or at least agree to give it a try.
Well, I think I just didn't understand what the appeal of it would be.
Okay.
Until you were able to make me understand with enough badgering, I guess.
Keep
at the
at
very
it.
least, yeah, or at the very least, give in to your persistence.
I guess. Well, but again, and this is with anything, a little behind the scenes for you all. This is with anything, though. I gave you the opportunity where I said, if this is not something that you enjoy, you let me know and it stops, right? This is not a dictatorship of Geek For All where Joe raises his iron fist. Like, it's something that I thought that Amy would enjoy and I thought that all of you would enjoy. And we started doing it, and Amy did note that she was enjoying herself.
Yeah.
Go watch those Pokemon videos. You'll see.
There were some of them that were not enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the give and take of it.
With good reason.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the give and take of it. And I don't even know that most of them have seen many of those yet. Some of them they have. But there's more coming, don't you worry. So yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a risk to start a second channel when our first one was arguably not doing well numbers-wise,
Right.
in terms of subscribers and etc. And to be fair, that video game channel is growing very slowly, but I would also argue that it's for a very different audience, and we need to try to figure out how best to get that out in front of other people. So, of course, it helps out if people share and show their friends and etc. Because, yes, it helps us to grow, but as always, with anything that we do, I want people to share our content, not because I've asked you to, but because you've watched a video and you've said to yourself, you know what? So-and-so would really like this. My brother, my sister, my mother, my father, my friend from school, my friend from work, that person would really like this video and would understand it a lot better than I would, for example. And that's the way that I've always liked finding new content, is where someone says to me, you know what, this person, this channel, very good.
Check it out.
Yeah. And we do that with each other as well. If we find something interesting or intriguing, a new creator, a new talent, we'll say, oh my God, you got to watch this video that I saw today, and we play it for each other, right? A really, really good stuff. So I'm hoping that Video Games for All in 2020 gets to grow much larger than that as well. What about you? What has happened with Gluten Free For All? How did it come to be? And what are your hopes and dreams for the future?
Okay, well, so far there are only 2 videos on Gluten Free For All. I'm still sort of developing what additional videos are going to be. The 2 videos that are on there were centered around the Magic the Gathering cooking competition that had to do with the Throne of Eldraine card set that came out. I'd like to really kind of deviate from what those 2 videos are for that channel, because my original vision for that channel was really just to be a gluten free for all, or a gluten free reviewing products mostly. I don't know yet. We'll see. I might do some cooking and some baking where I kind of share some good recipes with people, and some just general knowledge of diets and things like that. But I think for the most part, what I want to do is just have a review channel of gluten-free products. So I'll buy a ready-made gluten-free product, and I'll try to maybe compare it to something that it's similar to of another brand or something like that.
Okay.
To give people an idea of what products that are already out there are actually good and why. And
if you don't mind, Amy, for people that may not have seen it, depending on where you're watching this, you might be watching this on Gluten Free For All, but for those that may not be aware, why is gluten-free so important to you?
Oh, well, I've been gluten-free for, oh God.
I couldn't tell you. It technically, when we got together, you were not, but
it's gonna be going on a decade, I think.
Sounds right. Definitely sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 2010, I want to say.
But, right, but how long should you have been gluten-free?
Well, I mean, pretty much anyone who has a gluten-free intolerant or a gluten intolerance really should have been gluten-free all along. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of health issues pertaining to the fact that I was basically perpetually poisoning myself.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. But, yeah, so I think 2010, so I was, let's see, 20?
Sounds right. Something like
right?
that. Yeah.
Or
Maybe
21?
Yeah, something like that.
21.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm 31. So there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how long I've been gluten-free. I'm also, I'm not entirely lactose free, but I try to be. I try to be very, very close to lactose free. I also know a lot about what makes things gluten-free, what makes things lactose-free, what makes things vegan, what makes things keto, things like that. So those little nuggets of knowledge are things that I can discuss on the channel.
Yeah.
As well as doing the sort of baseline reviews, which are technically the topic or the theme of the videos.
Yeah. And as I've said before, those the first 2 videos that you see on the channel, I helped coach you a little, but those were Amy's first 2 videos being solely in front of the camera, kind of producing it herself in her own mind and editing it herself. Again, with a little help from yours truly, but not by much. It was just, hey, how do I do this again? Here's how you do it. And then she went and did it on her own. So
I think those were the second and third videos that I ever edited.
That's right, because you did one for a pre-release that time. Yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah.
And it was also the second or third cooking video I had ever done. Because I actually did, for my art history class in high school, I actually did my midterm project or my final project was a cooking video that I had made, which was awful and really didn't fulfill the requirements of the assignment. So I understand that I didn't do that well on it, but whatever.
But she does a lot better with these. Don't you worry. And again, as I've said, they're very short. So it is definitely worth your time to check it out. And if it's something that interests you, as with anything that we do, you can subscribe. It's YouTube. You can hit bells, you can subscribe, etc.
Yes, please.
2019 was a very interesting year for our Magic the Gathering channel as well.
Yes.
Unfortunately, towards the end of the year, we started waning a bit in terms of Magic the Gathering stories and or the quality of the Magic the Gathering stories, which was a little bit of a heavy blow because our main series, Joe and Amy Review, is, sorry I didn't do the bit, but it's, that is the thing that makes us different than everybody else, I would argue. Arena videos, lots of people make those. Product openings, lots of people do those. I would say that we do them differently, hence why we're okay with doing them and not just, like, we're copying so-and-so. Like, we think that we're different in different ways, and that's why we are happy to continue to do what we're doing with those, and we're going to keep going. If there are more Magic stories, we will keep going with Magic stories. We would rather not have to just keep making, videos where we're complaining about the state of things. So we'd rather not do that. But we have other ideas. Don't you worry. Yeah. So definitely stay tuned to that channel. It's not going anywhere. It is still our main channel for a very good reason. We are still posting 4 videos a week. 2 on the regular Geek For All Magic the Gathering themed channel, and 2 more on Video Games For All every single week. Speaking of Video Games For All, we just finished, before this, the Sunday before this video goes live, we just finished, 2 Sundays before, gotta figure out our release schedule, Joe. 2 Sundays before this video goes live, or the Sunday before this video goes live, we are now starting our new series on the Video Games For All channel with Life is Strange.
Yes.
Such an interesting game.
I'm very excited.
Yes. We have filmed a couple, and you will see those sporadically as the weeks go on. We're going into the holidays, so we are not going to miss a video release, or at least if we miss it, it'll be like a day because Joe forgets and we're busy sometimes. But
yes,
we have
the time.
Yes. But we have videos planned out for every day that we're gone. You will see all of those videos in your faces, in your eyes, in your sub boxes.
We're not gonna put it in your face. That's a little rude.
Depends on what you want. Ask nicely enough, I'll shove a video in your face. Why not? No? Okay. I'll do it. Amy won't. But
I'll shove it in your eyeballs.
So that is how we're progressing currently. 2 videos a week on one channel, 2 videos a week on another channel. Gluten Free For All is not a set release schedule,
right,
but it will be something that every once in a while you'll be surprised.
Right.
Pleasantly surprised by a nice video from Amy.
When I get some time, I'll make some videos.
Right. And something that you can share with family and friends, or that you can use to educate yourself, because trust me, as a loved one of someone who is gluten-free and or sometimes dairy-free, it is definitely something that I've had to learn and wanted to learn. Not had to. I've wanted to learn more about, because I want to be able to taste something and say, wow, this is good, try it, and not go, oh, right, you can't have it. That's tempting and rude to someone who's trying to watch what they eat, because it's going to get them sick if they don't. And they don't need people who love them and who they love shoving something in their face where they have to go, I can't eat that. It's just not fun. So learning what is and is not gluten-free, or learning some good alternative ideas for what's gluten-free, a good treat that you could buy somebody. That's what you're going to get over at the Gluten Free For All channel. And so I highly recommend that you watch it, whether you are someone who is gluten-free or whether you know someone who's gluten-free and you'd like to just make their day every once in a while, because that's kind of nice. And as we go into the holiday season, I've mentioned it a couple of times now, first of all, most importantly, and I'm sorry it took this long to say it, happy holidays to one and all from the both of us here.
Yes.
And a very happy new year as well, because 2020, we are just going to keep going. This year, the other big milestone for us that we really enjoyed was, if it was not the first in 2019, we may have had one in 2018. We were trying to debate and we couldn't really remember, but we became sponsored streamers for Wizards of the Coast for Magic the Gathering Arena. That was and will continue to be, as we have mentioned, such an honor.
Yes.
So much fun to be able to do that, and it's great to participate in those live streams with all of you. The guests that we have had, or the people that we have had in our chat, the discussions have been incredible. They've been hilarious. They've been insightful. People give very good draft advice or play advice, which I really appreciate. But also
And I certainly appreciate that, because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yes, and then it helps me look like I do know what the hell I'm doing. But it's super nice and it's super helpful, and we hope that everybody really enjoys themselves. It seems that way. We always have an absolute blast laughing, joking around with the chat, playing games, whether we win and we're on a hot streak or whether we lose every game. It doesn't matter. It's an absolute blast. And do you feel like you've learned stuff?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
And that's honestly the most important part to me, is to make sure that the stream is accessible for people who don't necessarily know fully how to play the game. And I try to do that through Amy. So Amy is able to say, okay, but why that or whatever. And it's really gotten to the point, even in our general release videos around MTG Arena, where I like the fact that you're able to look at a draft and say, yeah, no, we definitely want to pick this one, or let's not that one's not as good, or what have you, and then play it out. Is that kind of what your experience has been with draft?
Yeah,
You
I
like
mean,
that?
I like the process of drafting and deck building. I like sort of looking at the cards, trying to figure out what they do, figure out how well they'll fit into a deck with cards of other types. It's interesting to me. The actual playing of it component to that is not as much fun to me, as weird as that might sound.
I don't think that's weird at all.
Well, I think most people would probably say that the deck building part is the necessary evil to play the game, which is the fun part.
I would tell you that you feel that way because you live with me.
Oh.
And I feel that way. That does not mean that a lot of people feel that way. There is the brewer community out there that just enjoys making decks, finding synergies, figuring out what works together. There are people who, I mean, there are preview drafts, if you will, I can't think of the exact word, but like practice drafts online that you can do, where you just get a digital draft in front of you and you just draft your picks, and then you make your deck, and then it's not like you can play. It's not on Arena or Magic Online.
Right.
It's just online. So you get to grind drafting and deck building and not then go out and play, you could just start another draft again. And so you get to see where patterns form, what cards might work well together.
Yeah,
so
that kind of thing is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But playing is whatever. Just as always, since I've known you pretty much, I enjoy watching you play as opposed to trying to play myself.
That's fair. And again, if you think that sounds cool, check out the Video Games for All channel as well. Again, that Pokemon series, I love our Pokemon Red series. You should definitely go watch that.
There were a lot of interesting moments. And
again, to look through the eyes of someone who's never played it before, as someone like me who has played it so many times that I'm like, oh yeah, and then you go over here, and then you do this, and then you do this, and I'm definitely going to catch this one because I want this one because it's optimal for the later game. That's not what Amy's doing because Amy doesn't know all those things.
Right.
And that's okay. And it takes me a while, every once in a while I kind of slip back where I'm like, but just why are you... Because that's how, one, she wants to do it, or two, the game didn't tell her she should be doing it any other way.
Right.
So it's super interesting.
I have no knowledge going in, so...
Right. And I'm there really to make it go faster in terms of like knowing where the buttons are and how to, and what to press and how to do different things. But also, if you get completely bricked where you're like, well, I don't know what to do next, I can be like, okay, well, the answer is you gotta go this way. Just that kind of thing. So if you're unfamiliar with the series, I highly encourage you to check that out. Like I said, Life is Strange has just started over there as well. And if you're interested and have missed the Hearthstone series, for those of you that are fans of trading card games, digital or otherwise, my Hearthstone series just ended where I played through the Dollar on Heist solo campaign. Did I win or did I give up? You'll have to watch and see.
Those are videos that I am not in.
Correct. The Hearthstone ones is correct. The every other ones you are. All the Life is Strange, all the Pokemon Red. Hearthstone was just me trying some things out when we first got our new streaming and filming computer. And it was a blast.
Sure the setup is working.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there are some sound level issues maybe on the first couple, but we fixed it. Don't worry. So and there's a lot more coming. In 2020, we are currently dealing with some technical issues regarding some of the other games and game systems that we want to use and play for Video Games for All. But we have been working with, shout outs to him, our good friend Dave over at DAM314 on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/DAM314. We have both been guests of his for years on his show. This year I started with him a playthrough of Spider-Man on the PS4, which we are still going through. For those of you in the Garnted Cult, of which I am a co-founder, so you're welcome. Yeah, for those of you in the Garnted Cult, you'll understand this, and those of you who are aspiring members of the cult, you will come to understand Spider is not murder. But shout-outs to Dave. Definitely go check Dave out. Specifically, I'll shout out the Weekend Wednesday, which is more often the show that we are on at one time or another. And that is Wednesday evenings around 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/DAM314, like I said. But Dave tends to stream often. And so you should definitely go check him out there. Tell him Geek for All sent you.
Yeah.
And shout outs to him again for helping us with our electronic setup. It has been a struggle, but he's been incredible, and we will hopefully get that taken care of, and hopefully it'll be perfectly seamless and you'll never even realize that it was an issue, except that I just told you. But that's probably it. We probably rambled on for a lot longer than we were supposed to.
Well, also, a big milestone for us in this year was that we got married.
Why did I not think of talking about that? We did get married. It was genuinely the best day of both of our lives.
Right.
Having family and friends there. Dave was one of the people there just because we mentioned him. So, but also our friends from our earlier lives in the in the Geek For All channel, where we were filming with many more people because we lived closer to those people, but
Yes.
they are still our very close friends. We still keep in touch with all of them. They were able to be at our wedding. It was a beautiful day, surrounded by friends and family. We have some photos that we have shared or can share. Check out our socials, Twitter, Facebook, etc. for that. And yeah, it was great, and it allowed us then, or kind of out of necessity, we used to do the fiancé finance bundle battles, but we were no longer fiancés. So now we have started the series whose name I love, and not everybody does, but that's fine.
It's fine.
It is the Wife Finance Husbundle Battle series. And that has already started with 3 new videos that were up on our main channel, put out over the last few weeks prior to the holidays. So we encourage you to check those out as well. Please don't forget, also on our main channel, we will continue as long as our sponsor store has us, and we are so grateful for them. There's no chance that they have said anything towards not having us, but I'm saying as long as they are gracious enough to continue to allow us to be there, we are going to continue to try our best to cover every pre-release for every new set that comes out. If and when we are invited back, we will continue our preview streams for new sets through sponsorship with Wizards of the Coast. Again, super, super grateful and thankful to them for those opportunities, both Wizards of the Coast and our sponsor store, Champion Card Collector in Poughkeepsie, New York. Again, this video is not sponsored by any of those people, but we have had videos sponsored by them in the past, and so we thank all of them for that opportunity and their trust in us to do these things correctly as we continue to grow and change, and yet in many ways stay the same in the ways that continue to work. Hence why I will close it with the way that I started it, by telling you, if you have thoughts, concerns, comments, questions, feedback, constructive criticism of any kind, we want to hear from you. The comment section of this video, tweet at us, Facebook us, whatever you have to do, that would be the best way to get in touch with Joe and Amy. So, for now, this is going to be the end, and I'm sure this will not be the last video of 2019 that will come out on all of our channels collectively, but we will be putting this video out on all of our channels. But stay tuned, subscribe, hit bells, comment, share videos. It's YouTube. You all know how it works. Hashtag Vorthos Pride it up on our videos as we somewhat return to doing some jar videos here and there. But again, I actually think, speaking of 2019, I think that our promise that we made towards jar in 2019 was very beneficial and very helpful, because at the end of 2018, we said we were not going to be doing jars unnecessarily. And I think that's been very helpful for us because, one, it's a lot less stress in terms of forcing ourselves to make a video, but also in 2018, when we did do jars that we didn't have really a topic for and we just picked a random story, we didn't know enough about those stories, and it showed. And people called us out on it, and we appreciated that, and so we modified things. So jar will be back when jar needs to be back, and when it doesn't need to be back, it will not, and we will put other videos in there in its place.
Yes, we will have other videos.
Oh yeah, still 2 videos a week, no question. Yeah, so definitely stay tuned to any and all of our channels for all of those things coming up in 2020. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you've been with us for all of 2019 or part of 2019, thank you so much for all of your support, whether you've watched 1 minute of one video or every minute of every video. We love you, we thank you, we respect you, and we appreciate what you do for us in doing that, but also we hope that you enjoy what we do, because that's why we're here. So that is going to be it for the 2 of us here at the Geek For All now family of channels, closing out 2019 and starting off 2020 on the good foot.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays and Happy New Year to one and all. I have been Joe.
And I'm Amy.
And as we always say, always, in whichever video of ours you watch next, we will see you all next time. Year? Thanks, everybody.